No one noticed the homeless man sitting outside the Manhattan diner. Not the businessman rushing past with Bluetooth earpieces. Not the tourists laughing, phones raised chasing memories. Not even the staff inside the restaurant, who had stepped over him so many times. He'd become part of the sidewalk, no one except Ethan Carter. Ethan wasn't special, 32 years old, divorced, drowning in debt, working double shifts as a food delivery driver, just to survive New York's merciless rent. That night the city was colder than usual. The kind of cold that doesn't just bite your skin, it seeps into your bones, and convinces you that no one would miss you if you disappeared. Ethan pushed open the diner door, a brown paper bag in his hand. Inside was a half-eaten burger and fries, not charity, not kindness. Just leftovers. He almost kept walking, almost. Then he heard the cough dry weak, the sound of a man whose lungs had surrendered long ago. The homeless man looked up. His beard was grey tangled. Frozen at the edges, his coat was too thin for winter. Sleeves torn, hands trembling. But his eyes were sharp. Too sharp. They didn't beg. They didn't plead. They recognized Ethan. And that made Ethan uncomfortable. "Sir," Ethan said awkwardly, "you want this?" He held out the bag. The man stared at it for a long second, then slowly reached out. Their fingers brushed. The homeless man flinched like he'd been burned. "You shouldn't be here," the man whispered. Ethan frowned. "What?" The man pulled the bag closer, lowering his voice even more. "They're still watching you." Ethan laughed nervously. "Look, man, I don't know what you lost your wife on a Tuesday." The man interrupted. "Your bank account hit 0 3 weeks later. And last night you thought about driving into the river." Ethan's smile vanished. His heart slammed against his ribs. How do you know that?" The homeless man finally opened the bag, but instead of eating, he looked up and said something that made Ethan's blood turn cold. "Because I've already seen how your story ends." A car horn blared nearby. Ethan turned his head for half a second. When he looked back, the homeless man was eating calmly like nothing had happened. Ethan stepped back. "Who are you?" The man chewed slowly. "I was someone once." He said, "Just like you." Ethan felt stupid standing there, heart racing over words from a stranger. "Listen," Ethan said, forcing a laugh. "Thanks for the scare, but I gotta go." He turned to leave. Behind him, the man spoke again. "If you take the job tomorrow night, don't open the package." Ethan froze. Tomorrow night there was a job. A private delivery, cash only, no app, no record. He hadn't told anyone. He turned slowly. What package? But the man was focused on the fries now. Ignoring him, Ethan backed away, every instinct screaming danger. That night he didn't sleep. The next evening, Ethan stood outside a luxury apartment building in Brooklyn, holding a small black box. No return address, no sender name. Just a symbol etched into the lid. A symbol he had seen before on the homeless man's ring. His phone buzzed. "Unknown number. Text, open it and you'll understand why you met him." Ethan swallowed. His fingers hovered over the box. Somewhere far away, sirens wailed. And for the first time in his life, Ethan felt something worse than fear. He felt like his life had already been decided. When the box was opened, Ethan's hand was shaking.
When
the cold
box
wind
was
outside the luxury
Ethan's
Brooklyn
hand was
apartment
shaking. The
cut
cold
through
wind
his
outside
jacket,
the
but it
luxury
wasn't the
Brooklyn
weather that made
apartment
him
cut through his
freeze.
jacket,
It
but
was the
wasn't
black
the
box
weather
in
that
his
made him
hands,
freeze.
small, heavy.
It was the black
Unnaturally
box in
cold.
his
"This
hand.
is just a delivery."
Small, heavy,
He whispered to himself,
unnaturally
"Drop it
cold.
off and
This
leave."
is just a delivery.
But the old
He
man's
whispered to
voice
himself,
echoed in his head.
"Drop it off and
"Don't
leave."
open the
But
package."
the
His
old
phone
man's voice
vibrated
echoed in
again.
his head.
"Unknown
"Don't
number
open the
if you want the
package."
truth.
His phone
"Open
vibrated
it
again.
now." Ethan
"Unknown
looked
number.
around.
If you want
The street
truth,
was empty.
open it now."
Slowly,
Ethan
he
looked
lifted
around.
the lid
The
inside
street
the
was
box.
empty.
There was
Slowly,
no
he
money,
lifted
no
the
weapon.
lid. Inside
Only
the
3
box,
items, an
there
old
was no money,
photograph,
no
a
weapon,
key, and a
only
letter.
3
Ethan
items,
picked up the
an old
photograph.
photograph,
His
a
breath
key,
stopped.
and
It
a
was
letter.
him.
Ethan
10
picked up
years
the
younger,
photograph.
same face,
His
same
breath
eyes,
stopped.
same smile.
It was him. 10
Standing
years
beside
younger,
him was the
same
homeless
face,
man.
same
But
eyes,
not homeless, he
same
was clean,
smile.
well-dressed,
Standing
powerful.
beside him was the homeless
Ethan
man,
dropped the photo.
but
This
not homeless.
This
He
can't be
was
real.
clean,
With trembling
well-dressed,
fingers,
powerful.
he opened
Ethan
the
dropped
letter.
the
The letter,
photo.
Ethan.
This
If you're
can't be
reading this,
real.
it means you
With
made the
trembling
same
fingers,
choice I did.
He opened the letter.
I know you're
The
afraid.
letter.
I was too.
Ethan, if you're
I am
reading
you
this,
10 years
it
from
means
now.
you made the same
Ethan's
choice I
chest
did.
tightened.
I know
I
you're
tried
afraid.
to change the
I was
future,
too.
and I paid
I
the
am
price.
You. 10 years
The key
from
will
now,
take you to
Ethan's
where
chest
everything
tightened.
began,
I tried to change
where
the
you are
future,
about to make a
and I
terrible
paid the
mistake.
price.
If
The
you
key will
make it
take you
again,
to where
you will
everything
become me.
began.
The
Where
letter
you were
slipped
about to
from
make
his
a
hand.
terrible mistake.
Ethan
If you
slid
make
down
it
against
again,
the wall,
you will become
gasping
me.
for
The
air.
letter
This
slipped
is a
from
sick
his
joke.
hand. Ethan
Someone's
slid down
messing with
against
me.
the wall,
But
gasping
deep
for
down,
air.
he knew the old
This is a
man's
sick
eyes
joke.
had been telling the
Someone's
truth.
messing with me.
The key and
But
number
deep
was
down,
engraved on
he
it.
knew. The old man's
304,
eyes had been
apartment
telling the truth.
304.
The key,
Ethan's
a
heart
number was
pounded. He
engraved on
entered
it.
the building.
304.
The elevator mirror
Apartment
reflected a man
304.
he barely
Ethan's
recognized,
heart pounded.
exhausted.
He entered the
Broken,
building.
terrified.
The elevator mirror
stopped
reflected a man he barely
304.
recognized.
The door was
Exhausted,
unlocked. Ethan
broken,
pushed it open.
terrified.
Room
The elevator
304.
stopped.
The apartment was empty.
304. The door
No
was
furniture,
unlocked.
only a
Ethan
single
pushed
chair
it open.
and a mirror.
Room 304.
Not an ordinary
The
mirror, it
apartment
felt
was empty.
alive.
No furniture.
Ethan stepped
only
closer,
a
his
single
reflection
chair
lagged
and a mirror.
behind him.
Not an
He
ordinary
raised his
mirror.
hand, the
It
reflection
felt
raised it
alive.
a second
Ethan
later.
stepped closer.
Then the
His
reflection
reflection
smiled.
lagged
Ethan
behind him.
didn't, the reflection
He raised
spoke.
his hand.
I
The
thought I could
reflection
fix
raised it a
everything
second
too.
later. Then
Ethan
the
stumbled
reflection
back. Who are
smiled.
you?
Ethan didn't.
The reflection answered
spoke.
calmly.
I thought I could
I'm who
fix
you
everything
become
too.
if you make the wrong
Ethan
choice
stumbled
tomorrow
back.
night.
Who are
The
you?
lights flickered,
reflection
darkness
answered
swallowed the
calmly.
room.
I'm who you
A
become.
voice
If
echoed
you
from
make the wrong
nowhere.
choice tomorrow
Tomorrow
night,
night you will
the
let a
lights
man
flickered.
die, or you will
Darkness
lose your
swallowed the
humanity.
room. A
The
voice
door
echoed from
slammed
nowhere.
shut. Ethan spun
Tomorrow
around.
night, you
He
will let a
wasn't
man
alone.
die,
Someone
or
stood
you will
behind
lose your
him.
humanity.
The truth
The door
revealed it
slammed
was the
shut.
homeless
Ethan
man.
spun around.
But now
he
he wasn't
alone.
homeless.
Someone
He
stood
looked
behind
exactly
him.
like the
The
man
truth
in the
revealed.
photograph
It
clean.
was the homeless man.
Strong, calm.
But
I
now
warned
he
you, he
wasn't
said
homeless.
quietly.
He looked
But you
exactly
opened the
like the
box.
man in
Ethan's
the
voice
photograph.
broke. How do I
Clean,
stop this?
strong,
The
calm.
man stepped
I warned
closer
you,
and
he
whispered the
said
words that
quietly.
changed
But
everything.
you opened the box.
Tomorrow night
Ethan's
you will be
voice
tested.
broke. How do
You
I
must
stop
choose
this?
save one
The
man or
stepped
save
closer
an entire
and
world.
whispered the words
Ethan
that
couldn't
changed
breathe.
everything.
The words echoed
Tomorrow
inside
night,
his
you will
skull.
be tested.
One night,
you
one
must
choice.
choose.
The man
Save
standing
one
in front
man,
of him
or
claimed
save
calm.
an entire world.
Terrifyingly familiar
Ethan
was no
couldn't
longer
breathe.
just a
The
warning.
words echoed
He
inside
was a
his skull.
consequence. You
One
don't have
night,
much time.
one choice.
The man said,
standing
once you
in
leave
front
this
of him,
room.
clean,
The clock
calm,
starts. Ethan
terrifyingly
clenched his
familiar,
fists.
was no longer
What
just a
happens
warning.
if I don't choose?
He was a
The
consequence.
man's eyes
You don't
darkened. You
have much
already
time.
did.
The man said.
He replied
Once
10
you
years
leave
ago.
this room,
The
the
truth
clock
about the
starts.
future.
Ethan
The
clenched
man
his
turned
fists.
toward
What
the mirror.
happens if I don't
For
choose?
a brief second,
The
Ethan
man's
saw
eyes
something
darkened.
flash
You
across his
already
face.
did. He
Regret
replied.
I was you, the
10
man
years
said
ago,
slowly,
the
same
truth
fear.
about the future.
Same
The
anger,
man
same
turned toward the
desperation.
mirror.
He paused
For a
and I
brief
failed.
second,
The
Ethan
room
saw
felt
something
smaller.
flash
I
across
chose
his
myself.
face.
The man
Regret.
continued.
I was you.
I let
The
one man
man
die
said
because I
slowly.
thought the world
Same
needed
fear,
me more.
same anger,
Ethan
same
swallowed and the
desperation.
world.
He paused,
The man
and
laughed
I failed.
quietly. It
The room
survived.
felt smaller.
He said,
chose
but I didn't. The
myself.
night
The man
everything broke.
continued. I let
Images
one man
flooded the
die
mirror.
because
A
I
dark
thought the
street, a
world needed
delivery
me
truck.
more.
A man
Ethan
lying on the
swallowed,
ground
and the
bleeding.
world. The
Ethan
man laughed
stepped
quietly.
closer. That man.
It survived.
Ethan
he said,
whispered, that's
but
who
I
I'm
didn't.
supposed to
The
save.
night everything broke.
Yes, the man
Images
said.
flooded
He's
the
a
mirror.
stranger to
A
you,
dark
just
street,
another
a
delivery.
delivery truck.
Ethan
A
shook
man
his head.
lying on
Then
the
why
ground,
does it matter?
bleeding.
The man
Ethan
turned
stepped
sharply
closer.
because he
That
saved
man,
someone else.
Ethan whispered.
He snapped
That's
someone
who I'm
you'll never
supposed
meet.
to save.
The mirror
Yes,
changed
the man
again.
said.
A young girl.
He's a stranger to
Hospital
you.
bed machines
Just another
beeping. She
delivery.
lives, the man
Ethan
said.
shook his head.
His voice
Then why
breaking
does it
only
matter?
if that
The
man
man
lives.
turned sharply.
Ethan's
because
chest
he
tightened,
saved
and
someone
if he
else.
dies,
He snapped.
the mirror went
Someone
black.
you'll
Then you
never
become
meet.
me. The
The
cost
mirror
of changing
changed again.
time.
A young
Ethan
girl.
stepped back.
Hospital
So
bed.
why are you here?
Machines beeping.
He asked
She
if the
lives.
future
The
is
man
already
said,
written.
his voice
Why
breaking.
warn me? The
Only
man
if that man
hesitated.
lives.
Because
Ethan's
even
chest
monsters
tightened.
want
And
redemption.
If he dies, the
He
mirror
said
went
silence
black.
filled the
Then
room.
you become me.
I don't
the cost
exist
of
the way you
changing time.
think.
Ethan
The man
stepped
continued,
back.
I'm
So
what's
why are
left
you
when
here?
someone
He
chooses
asked.
wrong.
If the
Ethan
future
looked
is
at him,
already
then
written,
why are you
why
homeless?
warn me?
The
The
man's
man
lips
hesitated.
tightened because
Because
time
even
punishes
monsters
those
want
who interfere.
redemption. He
He
said.
answered, every
Silence
change
filled the
takes
room.
something away.
I don't exist the
The
way
clock
you think.
starts
The
suddenly.
man
Ethan's
continued.
phone
I'm
vibrated.
what's
A new
left when
message.
someone chooses
Private
wrong.
delivery
Ethan
confirmed.
looked at him.
Pick
Then
up
why are you
11:40
homeless?
p.m.
The man's
location.
lips tightened.
East River
because time
District.
punishes
Ethan's heart
those who
dropped.
interfere.
That's tonight, he
answered.
said. The
Every
man
change
nodded.
takes
This is the
something
moment.
away.
He
The
said
clock
no more
starts.
warnings.
Suddenly,
The lights
Ethan's
flickered.
phone
The mirror
vibrated.
cracked.
A new
A
message.
deep, unnatural
Private
sound
delivery
echoed through the
confirmed.
room.
Pick up.
What happens after
11:40
I
p.m.
choose?
Location.
Ethan asked. The
East
man
River
looked at him
District.
one last time.
Ethan's heart dropped.
You'll never
That's
see
tonight,
me again.
he said.
He said
The man
either because
nodded.
I
This is
disappear
the
or
moment,
because you
he
replace
said.
me.
No
The
more
final
warnings.
question.
The
Ethan
lights
reached for the
flickered.
door.
The mirror cracked.
His hand
A deep,
paused. What if I
unnatural natural
fail.
sound echoed
He
through the
asked
room.
quietly. The
What
man
happens after
answered
I
without
choose?
hesitation.
Ethan asked.
Then you'll
The
sit
man
where I
looked at
once
him
sat.
one last time.
He said,
You'll
watching
never see
strangers
me
walk
again,
past.
he said.
Hoping one
Either
of them
because I
makes a better
disappear,
choice
or
than you
because
did.
you replace me.
Ethan opened the
final
door. Cold
question.
night air
Ethan
rushed in
reached for
behind
the
him.
door.
The
His
man's
hand
voice
paused.
followed.
What if
Remember
I
this,
fail?
Ethan.
He asked
Heroes
quietly.
aren't
The
born,
man
they're
answered
chosen.
without hesitation.
The door slammed
Then you'll
shut.
sit where
Ethan
I
stepped
once
into
sat,
the night.
he said.
The clock on
Watching
his phone
strangers
read.
walk past, hoping one of them makes a better choice than you did. Ethan opened the door. Cold night air rushed in. Behind him, the man's voice followed. Remember this, Ethan. Heroes aren't born, they're chosen. The door slammed shut. Ethan stepped into the night. The clock on his phone read